I'm about to graduate. Please, can I go party in the club? I mean, just picture it. Can I go party in the club, Mom and Dad, and will you buy me a new shoes and a new dress to wear and a new hijab to wear into the club? That's what you're doing. It's exactly what you're doing if you say, I want to go to prom. I want to have that experience. That's a nightclub experience. That's not end of the year celebration. It's a nightclub. I've been there. And that was in 1999. It's 2013. I'm like, what's going on in their proms? You know, because it was that long ago. What's going on in your school now? In your big city school, where you have all kinds of people. What do you want to expose yourself to? Just go to a bar. Go to a bar and expose yourself there. And then come home and, make your prayers to Allah. Well, the Allah wanted to celebrate with all the other kids. And it's the end of the year. Who cares? You're going to graduate soon. You're going to go on and be an adult. None of that is going to affect you. Like now, when I look back at prom, I'm like, who cares?
That's what we were talking about that last
Who
week.
cares?
We were like, the next day, 2 days later, no one's gonna remember who went to prom.
Except the girls and guys who make those life-changing mistakes. They'll remember for the rest of their life. So no one thinks that you guys are going to go out with a flask in your jacket. We don't think you're going to do bumps in the bathroom. I hope you don't even know what that means. No one thinks that you girls are sneaking out and going and joining some boy at night and just ruining the rest of your life in one night. We don't think you're going to do that. But I don't want you to be around people who are. The imam at Epic today, East Plano Masjid, for y'all who don't know, he gave this awesome khutbah today, and he was talking about temptation and about the devil and how he had tempted this man that was like so devoted to Allah that he spent all of his time in prayer. And I don't know if any of y'all were there, but these brothers, they have like one sister at home, and they asked this man, could you just like make some food and just leave it outside for our sister to pick up while we're gone, because she wants something to eat and we're not going to be there to take care of her. And they said the devil was telling this man, little things like, hey, don't just leave it outside the door. That's not what a good Muslim should do. You should like put it in front of her door. Just put it in front of her door. So he starts to put it in front of her door. Then the devil's like, hey, you know what? You should like knock on the door and take it inside. Like, be hospitable. Check on her. Maybe she's lonely. So he tells him, okay, so he starts to go take the food to the woman. She's alone. She doesn't have her brothers there. No one's there. So slowly, every day he's bringing her food. Every day he's going inside. How are you? How are you doing? Then they become friends. Then they get closer. Then she ends up having his baby. Okay? That wasn't how the imam said it. He didn't say baby. It's just staring at his feet the whole time. So he gets this woman pregnant. She has a kid. Now the brothers are coming home, and he's like, oh my God, okay, what am I going to do? And the devil tells him, you need to get rid of the evidence. The evidence is what? Is that poor woman and her baby. It says you need to kill them. You don't want people to know. Your whole life's going to be ruined. He was like so devoted. Okay? So someone so devoted, like your youth leader, someone really devoted, went from that to going in a woman's home when there's no one there, and then committing this ultimate sin. Then he listens to the devil again. He murders the woman and her baby and buries them in the dirt. When the brothers come home and they say, "Where's my sister? Where is she?" And he says, "Allah took her. It was her time. This is just life." So they're like, "Okay, we trust you," because they think, okay, this guy, he's a devoted Muslim. We trust him. So they go to sleep, and Allah sends to them the truth in their dreams. Each one of them has the same dream, that their sister is buried and that there's a baby next to her, and where they're buried. So all of them wake up and they're like, "Did you have that dream?" All of them talk about the dream, and they go, they find her where she's buried, and they find the baby next to her. Now they know. So that man was taken, put before their court system, and they said he's going to be executed. And the devil tells him, "I can end all of this. I can take all this away, make it all go away, if you just do one thing." He says, "What? Anything. I'm going to die." He says, "Just prostrate before me." And the devil said, "Just prostrate before me, and I'll make all of this go away." So this man, what has he got to lose? He's been listening to him the whole time. So of course he prostrates before the devil, and he's executed. He didn't save him, of course. You think the devil's going to be like, "Since I promised you that, I'll give it to you." No. He's executed. The woman lost her life, her baby, all because of what? Temptation. The Imam, he said, in the Quran it doesn't say, "Do not sin." It says, "Don't even get near the sin." Don't put yourself in the position of sin, the temptation. When I first started coming to Islam, I started getting closer and closer to Allah. I didn't just like, all right, I'll put on my scarf and I'll whoop-de-doo, I needed to learn about Islam. I needed to develop a relationship with God, all of these things, because it was such a massive change. Massive change. Like, this girl to this girl. Lots of changing in between. And I still worked. I had to pay for my apartment and my car and blah, blah, blah. The things you don't have to worry about right now. Just wait. Or just marry well. I had a lot of bills. So my work is where? Where did I work? See, where did I work? Let's see if you were listening. Nightclubs. He remembers that word. I worked in nightclubs. So I used to think, all of a sudden I start dinging, this little light bulb starts going off, and I'm like, I don't like the way it feels in here anymore. Because why? Because God started to kind of make a little home inside my heart. And I started feeling like dirty when I would go to work. And I would be in like nice places. These are nice places, not like the dirty bars around Frisco or whatever. These are like nice clubs. Everyone's wearing Gucci and Prada, and a drink is like $20. And I felt so dirty every time I would go there. And I was like, I don't even want to work here. And I would tell my boss, who was a publicist, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I'm not going to, I would come up with different reasons. I'd be like, I have a flat tire. And you had a flat tire last week. Well, I guess I need a new car. And he'd be like, look, I'll pay you double. And I already was paid pretty well. He was going to pay me double to take pictures of a bunch of crazy people. And I would still be like, I don't really care. I just don't want to be there. And I had friends who were Muslim people that were going to the nightclubs. And some of them were, there were these two girls that I always remember. They don't live here in the States anymore, but they used to go to nightclubs regularly, and they wore hijab. They wore really fashionable hijab. Like, they looked fierce. They looked more fierce than the girls without the hijab. And they would strut it through the club, you know, with their boyfriends. I'm like, my first images of hijab and Muslims were really messed up, to remind you why you should always represent Islam the right way. And I remember that one girlfriend of mine, she knew that I was studying Islam, and she knew that I didn't want to work there anymore. And she's like, you know, don't stop going to the clubs. You don't have to drink. I don't drink. She's like, you don't have to do anything. Just go and work and make your money. This is how you make your money. And leave. You don't have to do anything wrong. The devil, man, he will use your best buddy. He will use anybody. Even people you think they're better than you. Like, I used to think these girls are more religious and they're, you know, they already wear that hijab, and I thought you had to go to school to wear that. I'm like, they know what they're talking about, you know? And instantly when I hear her saying this, it's like, I know. That's the devil telling me it's okay to be there as long as you're not doing anything wrong. Right? It's okay. Is it okay to be there? Is it okay for you to go and be in places where all the things that we don't stand for are happening around you? But if you don't take part, is it okay that you're there? Are you giving some kind of dawah by being there? No. I'm sorry, but you're not. So don't try that excuse. But Mom, I want to make dawah while I'm there. I'm going to go around with pamphlets.
Y'all are laughing, but someone told me that recently.
Yeah. I'm going to go around with pamphlets and be like, hey, Islam 101.
And after parties? No,
After
but I had
party.
someone tell me, oh, it's the after party.
After
Let's talk about what
parties,
that's about.
yeah. After parties is the school's way of trying to, I'm just going to tell you the truth. The after party is the school's way of trying to stop all of the drinking, hoteling, and girls losing their purity stuff that happens after the prom. Because that's exactly where everybody goes after the prom, is to go do all those naughty things. So they try to host these after parties, and they're like, it's casino night, we're going to use Monopoly money, and, you know, whatever, after party, because they don't want you to go do all the drinking and stuff after the prom. But the after party is just as bogus. Is it okay to go to a casino even if you're not going to gamble? No, wouldn't you feel weird? Like, we're Muslims, like, we're religious people. So would you feel weird if you went in a nightclub and you saw a nun? Like, what the heck are you doing here? And she would make you so uncomfortable, you would be like, what am I doing here? I want to go home, I feel dirty. Would it be, like, what if you went to a casino and there's a nun there and she's like banging on that slot machine, you know? Come on, I got 1 quarter left. That would be so weird. So why are you less? Right? Why are you less? You're not as close to Allah as a nun. So if you want to go be at these type of events, then wouldn't it be weird if you saw a nun there? Why would it make sense that we would be there? Because we are supposed to be just as godly as a nun, who is a woman who devotes her whole life to God. But isn't that the definition of a Muslim? Like, one who submits their life to Allah? Because that's what I go around to all these schools teaching these non-Muslim kids. I'm like, Muslims are, really, it's just people who submit their life to Allah. We're not crazy and terrorists and all these things. So do it. Project that image so that I'm not lying to all these people. If you submit your life to God, you submit your life, your whole life. Just like a nun. She's not sitting around, her teenage daughter's not going, Mom, can I go to the prom? Right? She'd be like, right. Oh yeah, they don't have kids. That's devotion right there. Good Lord. okay? So I want to open up the floor to some questions if we have time. Y'all have to be somewhere? Okay. Okay, so we'll do, I'm sure most of the questions will come from the girls because the guys will be like, I don't need to ask anything because I know everything. So let's take questions and you can ask anything you want to ask about prom, about what happens, about...
If y'all want me to ask the parents to go over there,
You want the aunties to leave?
Yeah, I see some of these girls turning.
I know what, my auntie here.
Yes, no.
If you want to write your question down and pass it up, you can. We appreciate it. We'll tell you what they say afterwards. We're just kidding, you guys. We want you to feel comfortable.
Why is my mom here?
Ask whatever you want.
Why is my mom here? Your mom.
You go to public school, so don't act like you're shy. Like, I know what you're exposed to at public school, so.
Your mom. She needs to leave.
Okay, so who has the first question? If you want to write it down and pass it up. It can be anonymous. Yeah. Let's go.
How do you stop this football job?
Yeah, I'm from Texas. I'm from Boston. No, I'm from Texas. I'm from the schools that I grew up in is in Palmer, Texas. Google it. Probably it doesn't even show up.
Like a city sign as you're driving through.
Yeah. We have I think they got a Sonic on the outskirts of the town recently. So thank you guys for joining us.
So last week we were kind of talking about the alcohol part of it. They were talking about alcohol. We're going to something that people know. And say, oh, I'm not going to do it. Be there. But he was talking about alcohol and how you can't be anywhere near one. Like that. So
Why would you? It's kind of like, say you go to your friend's house, your girlfriend or your guy friend, because you better not have a girlfriend. Say you go to your friend's house and they invite you to come over for pizza and you guys are going to watch a movie. So you're sitting on the couch and your friend's parents are gone or whatever, and your friend pops out a beer and she's like, you want some? And you're like, no. And you're like, wow, I said no, I'm good. And she's sitting there drinking it. Are you going to feel, awkward? Are you going to feel really awkward? And you're going to feel kind of PO'd because you're going to be like, you know what? I trusted you. You're inviting me to your house, and you think that I'm the kind of person that you could just pop open a drink, and that I'm going to be cool with it. It would make me uncomfortable. My parents drink alcohol. They're probably having a drink right now. But when they come to my house, no. I don't even have to tell them, hey, you can't drink in my house. I don't have to even tell them that. I remember the first time my dad came over to congratulate us when we moved to Plano. And he gets out of the car and he has a t-shirt on. It says, got beer. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, here's where I come from, So it's just, even when I see a t-shirt that says insignia on it of alcohol, I'm just offended, and because I know what it represents. It represents evil. It's part of what ruined my life, So being in an environment where people are drinking it should offend you. It should creep you out. You should not be cool with it. If you're cool with it, then I think we need to talk about your relationship with God. That's what we should be talking about. If you want to go to prom, we need to be talking about your relationship with Islam, not why you shouldn't want to go to prom. It shouldn't even be a question. With my kids, it is not going to be a question.
I was about to say, I don't have to say to ask.
You're going to get these. So, pass your questions up, or you can be brave and just I think that all of my sin influenced me to come to Islam. I think it was so deep that I needed the discipline and the black and white of Islam to pull me out of it. I won't go into all the details because, you know, NicoleQueen.com. Watch the videos.
Yes.
All right, you have some. It's a pretty handwriting. Okay, so if someone's like, are we going to get a reward in the afterlife if we don't go to prom? You know, I mean, I'm assuming every time you avoid sin, that, you know, the little basket where they throw your good deeds, yeah, you're going to get something in there. But I don't know, when people, I have this issue with, like, reward and stuff. I'm like, your reward is all the things that are not going to happen to you because you didn't go. Like, all the bad things that could happen or that you would be exposed to that may cause you to do something later. Maybe you go to prom and you don't do anything wrong and you're not exposed to anything or whatever, but being in that environment, maybe you get a taste for it and you want more. And that more may be just small things, like, you know, guys may look around and be like, you know, I want to start looking sexier when I go around. I'm going to start wearing my little brother's t-shirts, and, you know, I need to start working out, man. All those guys at the prom in those suits, they looked good. I need to start working out. I need to start caring more about my appearance. I care more about what the ladies think. It creates ideas that we try to not expose you to. The girls at prom dress like beep. Okay, the dresses get worse every year. Some of them have to wear sticky things just to hold the top. I don't want to describe it. They're called pasties. And they wear these things just to hold the top of their dress up because it's like barely even covering them there. Okay? These little girls with their little baby bodies. That's how bad it is. You know, it's all about how sexy they can look. And so maybe you see that and you're wearing hijab, but maybe it just is enough to say, you know what, I can start moving my scarf back a little bit. Just a little bit more, and, you know, maybe I can, like, wear those cute shorter skirts, but I'll wear pantyhose underneath, or those, what are those, like, short in the front, long in the back dresses? High-low dress. Maybe you could wear that with leggings, and, you know, that would be okay. Like, you're going to start wanting things because you're going to see things that you didn't see before.
I'll tell y'all a story I just thought of right now. When I was growing up, and I grew up in Plano, most of y'all know that, and when I was growing up, there was nobody really wore hijab. You know, there were just not that many Muslims here. And this is like 90s, late part of 80s, that kind of time. So there weren't that many Muslims around. There were just a couple token girls, and they wore hijab, and we thought they were like angels, you know, because, I mean, even our families didn't wear them. So we thought they were so perfect, and, you know, like, they went for glamour shots in here, and a big deal is they wore a hat with their hijab, and, you know, everyone was asking, how'd you get it done, and all this stuff, right? These girls, I'm not even joking, they, senior year, felt left out. They decided to go. Those girls, if you see them now, and these are girls my age, you would not recognize them. You would never in a million years think they're even Muslim.
They took off their hijab.
Not only, yeah, first step, I mean, honestly, was that. Then they actually went to SMU. So, like, the next year, I had gone to SMU, and they're talking to me, and I'm looking at them like, who are these people? Because they look totally different to me, you know, with that hijab. And the way they were dressed, I wouldn't have guessed I knew them, you know. And it just got worse. And the irony is, their mom even took it off. 2 years down, and their mom. And they were...
reward. Yeah. Talk about what kind of a sin you're going to take with you when you die if you cause someone else to take off their hijab.
Yeah, because they started hanging with this crowd, and then the other people they were hanging out with. They were kind of like a fast crowd. They were Desi. They were Muslim. But, you know, the money, like, their dad made a lot of money, and the crowd they were hanging out with was like that. And now, like, I'm not even joking. You would not, if you saw them going down a street, you would never in a million years guess that they were Muslim. Because of the way they dress, the way they act, the places they hang out, the things they even post on Facebook. Like, and it was the first step. You know, it was the first step. Because they went, and it was like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They met a couple of people. Those were their new friends. More they hung out with those people, it was like little things started going and going and going. And I'm not doubting that, you know, I'm not going to say they don't pray ever or anything like that, because I don't know that. I'm not in their household. I'm not with them all the time. But I will say they went from people that everyone in the community kind of looked up to people that never set foot in a mosque anymore.
What a shame.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you think Allah doesn't know, like, the struggles that you have? You think He's not listening? You think He doesn't know that you go to this public school and that you're withholding yourself from doing things that other kids are doing? But these are the things that He already has commanded you not to do, okay? He doesn't want you to be around that kind of stuff because He wants to protect you from yourself, okay?
That's
and
your
believe
jihad.
me, protect you from yourself. It is your jihad. So yeah, you will get reward for withholding from the things that it's human nature to want. And we don't want to expose you to those things because we don't want you to slip. We don't want you 5 years later to be the girl who doesn't have hijab, you know, because of that night.